Welcome back everyone, Oz here, and today I've got some r/AmITheDevil for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading the posts, giving you my own opinion, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Posted to r/relationship advice. My 29 male, wife, 30 female, is considering divorce because I almost cheated. How can we reconcile? My wife and I were going through a difficult period. She wanted to chase her dreams and go to law school. I was fully supportive of her dream. Still, I had to leave a job that I loved to find a different job that I was just content with. It did pay more, but money was tight with, let's call my wife Marie, focusing on school. I started to feel neglected and unappreciated. It just felt like she didn't fully grasp the sacrifice I made for her. We started arguing a lot, and that wasn't like us. I started finding solace in her friendish. They have the same group of friends, but she didn't like this particular person for some reason. And I mean, before the event took place, they had issues. And we'll call her Jada. So Jada and I started pushing the boundaries of what is typically acceptable, but we didn't hook up. We did plan on it, and I went to her house and we were making out. I got saved by an act of God or something, because her dog started barking loudly and she went out the back to check on the dog. I looked at my phone and I have a text from my wife and she's pouring her heart out. She told me she knows she's been caught up on school, but she really loves and appreciates me, and just a heartfelt message. I needed that and was reinvigorated and ready to put my all in the relationship again. I left and told Jada I can't do this. Jada begged me to stay, but I said no, so I did not have sex with Jada. I went home and was the best husband I could be. We had a great 4 months, and Jada kept trying to hook up, but I blocked her. Then she told my wife and sent screenshots, etc. My wife confronted me and I told her the truth and said I couldn't go through with it because I loved her too much. I was angry. She just cried and told me there's plenty of times I made her angry, but she never once disrespected our union. She said she's learning reconciliation, but since I broke her trust, she's given me time to come up with a reconciliation plan. Counseling, rules, etc. She's not going to do the planning because she didn't break anything. It's my job. So, anyone who has faced infidelity, even though infidelity is a strong word in this case, but just help rebuilding that trust in a relationship would be great. I mean, the thing is infidelity doesn't just have to be like, sex. It can be making out, as you clearly did, but it can also be emotional infidelity. And the thing is, hindsight of course being 2020, the moment you were having these issues with your partner, you should have actually just confronted her and let her know how you were feeling in this circumstance, that you were making these sacrifices and felt unappreciated in the relationship, and I'm sure things would have probably changed pretty quickly. Sometimes our partners can make sacrifices for us, or we can make sacrifices for our partners that they may not realize or understand, and it can end up compounding into a lot of resentment and pain. The fact that your wife is even giving you the chance to create a reconciliation plan, but you should be taking full advantage of this and do everything in your power that you can possibly think of to pretty much show that you recognize that you made a one-off mistake and you fucked up badly. You gotta be willing to go to couples counseling, defining rules, and just defining anything that your wife might be interested in so she knows that you are serious about this and you recognize that you did fuck up and you're willing to take the steps to fix that. Because by the sounds of it, that's what your wife wants to hear. She wants to know that you're willing to put the effort in to save the relationship. So buddy, count your lucky stars and make her happy. And honestly, you should probably start by calling what you did what it is, infidelity. Doesn't have to be physical, which you did make out with her, so it is physical in this case, but it can also be emotional. You should probably start there. Posted to r/AmITheAsshole, would I be the asshole public? Am I the asshole for tidying up the bathroom while my girlfriend was in the shower? Long story short, my, male 32, girlfriend, female 31, and I just moved into an apartment together a few months ago, and I've been slacking on the cleaning. She hasn't really said anything, but I've noticed her saying things under her breath or making some comment during dinner. I'm not a misogynist. I know men gotta clean and stuff too, I just never really did much of it. I mean, I cleaned of course, just not like my neat freak girlfriend. Anyways, I decided to clean the house before she got home from the gym, but I hadn't finished by the time she got home. Mind you, when she came home and saw what I was doing, she was really happy. I got a big smooch and promise of some fun times after her shower. So naturally I wanted to hurry and get it done. She hopped in the shower, but I hadn't finished the bathroom yet. Our bathroom is kinda big, so I figured I could sneak in while she was showering. Not to be a creep, the shower curtain is dark and you can't even see through it. To get the cleaning done. I do have a tendency to get distracted, so while I was bringing in the stuff to quickly clean the floor, I left my phone playing the podcast I was listening to in the other room. Not thinking, I just quickly mixed together some bleach and vinegar, oh my god, to get it clean fast. That's fucking chlorine gas, dude. Oh my god. I know what you're thinking, and yes, I'm an idiot. I figured the vinegar would speed up the process, but I didn't even think about how bad it smelled. Well, after I mixed it, I quickly went to grab my phone and turn the podcast off when I hear my girlfriend scream. I run back to the bathroom, but the steam was literally burning my eyes. She had the shower so hot. And she comes out, fully naked mind you, yelling at me and calling me an idiot and everything. She dumped the cleaning stuff down the drain and closed the bathroom door, literally freaking out at me. Again, she's butt naked and we're in the living room, at this point with windows pointed at the courtyard. Long story short, she's on our patio crying and told me she's not mad at me, but she needs time to heal, and said I should probably drive around for a bit. So now I'm sitting in my car wondering what the hell I did to upset her so badly. Am I the asshole? This one, I've been very back and forth if this one is bait or not, because this is just a level of incompetence that really bugs me. So instead, I'm going to treat this as a teaching moment. Look, never mix cleaning chemicals together, especially bleach. Bleach is one of the most volatile and reactive motherfuckers that you can have under your sink. So always use bleach as a sole, lone cleaning chemical. Don't mix it with anything else. Especially not ammonia, especially not vinegar. There are a lot of ways that you can make chemical gases that can and will put you into a hospital. When OP mentioned walking to the bathroom and claiming that, the shower was so hot it was hurting my eyes, that was not the shower being too hot, that was the chlorine gas in the bathroom. It's also a bit frustrating that when she was trying to get out of the area that had chlorine gas in it, he was more upset about the fact that she was trying to get herself to safety rather than, helping her out. I mean, granted, he had no idea what was going on, but, dude, a reaction like that after your girlfriend came home and smooched you and was so proud of that you were cleaning, to suddenly acting like that, you should probably put one and two together that you fucked something up. But there are some things that are safe to mix together, like baking soda and vinegar. It creates a very nice exothermic reaction that's very good for cleaning. And there are probably a few other ones that are good for household cleaning solutions, but please, for the love of God, if you even think about maybe mixing two things together that you think could be useful, but don't know for sure, just take the time to Google it before you turn your house into a World War I trench. Originally posted to r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for it being my fault the Google Voice number got taken away? I'm 19 male. My teacher is definitely in her 20s. I got a grad student instead of a professor for my writing class, and I think a lot of this is that she's on a power kick out of not being a professor. My teacher has an email policy for our class. I'm copying and pasting it. I have my university email account open on my computer from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on weekdays. This is when you can expect a response from me within the hour. On weekends, I'll check my email once at noon every day and answer my emails that popped up since the last time I checked. If I don't have the email in my inbox by around 12:30 Sunday, it likely won't be answered until 9 a.m. on Monday. I have a Google Voice number set up specifically for this class for any emergencies that you need a response to outside of these hours, including weekends. However, I ask that you use this number respectfully. If I find that students are taking advantage of anonymity to be inappropriate or are using the number for things that are not emergencies, i.e. things that could have waited for my normal email hours, I will remove this option. This weekend I was checking my grades when I noticed a 0 on one of our major assignments. I knew I had done this assignment, so I checked and I realized I forgot to turn it in after I received an extension. Since I got the extension, I forgot about the second due date and didn't receive a reminder, so it just slipped my mind to actually turn it in. I emailed the professor, but it was a Saturday at 1 p.m. I emailed her 3 more times before deciding to try the voice number, since I think a major grade issue like this would certainly fall into the category of emergency. I texted her at 7 p.m., didn't receive a response by 8, so I texted again. Went out for the night and wasn't checking until around 1 a.m. when I noticed I still hadn't received a response. So I texted a final time. Never got a response. Sent a text bitching to a group chat with around 5 people in the class and went to bed. This morning, she made an announcement to the class that after a few instances of abusing the text option, she was removing the voice number for the remainder of the semester and apologized to anyone who had used the number legitimately. Someone immediately texted the group chat and said, "Way to fucking go, OP." Then somehow the news got out to other people in the class, and I got a Blackboard email from another student, not in the group chat, saying I was acting like a dick, and now no one got the voice number. I was just trying to get a response in an emergency, and now my professor and the students are mad at me. It would have just taken her 5 minutes to just let me know that she got my email with the project. I used everything according to policy. I feel like it's not my fault she was upset that anyone dared to use it while she was out getting laid or oh, buddy. Oh, yikes. Edit, since I'm getting these comments a lot. I personally believe it's her job to answer emails and communicate with students, and since I had a question, it was her responsibility to answer it. On a Saturday at 1 a.m.? The reason me getting an extension is different is because I was sick when the assignment was due. I'm also only 19 and a freshman. If she's a grad student, she should be better at managing time than a new student. I am not a misogynist. Certainly could have fooled me there, buddy. Jesus. Also, you're 19 and a freshman. You missed 2 due dates. 2 fucking due dates. She spelled out very clearly that she does not check her email after noon on weekends. She checks it once, and that's done. You emailed her multiple times after the time that she said she would check it, then resorted to texting her on a line that she specified for emergencies only. You missing a second due date that was given to you does not qualify as an emergency. That is you being irresponsible with your own time. Since you didn't get a reminder, was the teacher supposed to remind you? Like, dude, this is your responsibility. You're a college student. What the fuck are you doing? Your inability to make plans and properly set reminders for yourself for a due date that was generously given an extension on does not constitute an emergency for your professor. And like the thing is, I've had multiple assignments that were late when I was in UD, but I sent an email, I explained the circumstances, and like 9 out of 10 times, because I was respectful about it, they gave me a pass on it, and it went in like nothing had happened. If you were just nice about it, left an email, let them know you had a shit ton of stuff going on, she probably would have like actually accepted it, but given it like maybe a 10 to 20% reduction in point value because it was a late assignment. Professors are pretty lenient with that shit, and they'll work with you. But you being like, she was probably just fucking getting laid instead of reading her emails. Dude, wash your socks. The mushrooms shouldn't be there. Originally posted to r/AmITheAsshole, would I be the asshole public? Am I the asshole for not giving my girlfriend space after I lost my temper? I, 20 male, know I'm the asshole here, but I don't know what to do next. I've had anger issues for as long as I can remember. I grew up in a house where yelling, slamming doors, and breaking things was just how people handled frustration. I know it's not an excuse, but I never really learned how to deal with my emotions in a healthy way. My girlfriend, 19 female, has always been patient with me. She's seen me lose my temper before. I've slammed doors, punched walls, and once threw my phone across the room during an argument. I always told myself it wasn't a big deal because I wasn't hurting anyone, just objects, but I think I finally pushed things too far. A few nights ago, we had plans to go out for dinner. Nothing big, just something we were both looking forward to. At the last minute, my boss asked me to stay late for overtime. I needed the money, so I said yes and texted her that I couldn't make it. When I got home, she was upset. She told me she understood that I had to work, but she was frustrated because this wasn't the first time I had canceled on her. She said she felt like she was always coming second to everything else in my life. I was already exhausted, and instead of listening, I got defensive. I told her I was doing my best and that she needed to be more understanding. She kept talking, saying it wasn't just about me working late. It was about how I never even tried to reschedule or communicate better. I could feel myself getting angrier and angrier, and then I snapped. I grabbed a chair and threw it at the TV. The second I heard the screen crack, I realized how bad it was. I looked at her and she wasn't yelling or arguing anymore. She just stood there, completely still. She wasn't mad, she was scared. She grabbed her bag and said, "I need some space." Then she left. I tried calling and texting her, but she barely responds. She just said she needs time to think. It's been 3 days now. I went to her place to apologize, but she wouldn't let me in. She told me she's trying to figure out if she can keep doing this. I told her I know I messed up, that I need help, and that I want to change. She just sighed and said, "This is exactly why I need space." I get why she's upset. I've never hurt her, and I never would, but I can't deny that I made her feel unsafe, and that's on me. I've been looking into anger management in therapy since it happened, but I don't know if that's enough to fix things. I don't want to lose her, but I also feel like if I keep reaching out, I'm proving her point by not giving her space. Am I the asshole for still trying to talk to her even though she asked for space? Okay, buddy, real talk here. So the reason why she's scared is because there's no guarantee that the anger that you demonstrate of throwing a chair at a TV will never be directed at her. Even if you might say to yourself that you will never impart this anger onto another, there is still a thought in her head of, he could snap, and next time it may not be the chair, it might be me. Because if her trying to explain her frustrations in the relationship pissed you off to the point where you were willing to throw a chair at a fucking TV, yeah, that's probably going to make her really consider a lot, because how can she have a conversation with you without the fear of that anger being directed towards something nearby, or God forbid, her? That's why she needs space to think about this and consider, and you better fucking give her that space, dude, because chances are she is scared, and she's trying to figure out what she needs next. And one of the problems is you looking at getting therapy or anger management now might be too little too late. Honestly, if you knew you had this problem, you probably should have started the moment that you were able to afford it, or started seeking it out or looking for healthy ways to deal with your stress and anger. I understand that you had an unhealthy childhood and grew up in an environment that fostered that kind of negativity, and it takes a lot to break through that and break out of it. But you also need to understand that while you work to recover yourself and heal yourself, you can't blame others for their reactions to your outbursts. You have to understand and take responsibility for the actions that you incur, even if they are stirred up by your past. Give her the space she needs, and in the meantime, focus on working on yourself. I'm sure the last thing that you want is to perpetuate the violence that you endured as a kid and migrate that into your adulthood, and perhaps even subjecting your children to that kind of violence and that kind of cruelty. And if she does leave you, which she has every right to do so, because by all definitions, your actions here are abusive. I'm not trying to sugarcoat that, I am letting you know that your actions here are abusive. And you cannot blame her for wanting to walk away from that. Even if she does walk away, it's still within your best interest to seek help and to do better and be better. Break the cycle and do what you can to be better, but also take the time to recognize that your actions towards your girlfriend have been abusive. The sooner you can recognize that, the sooner you can come to terms with how deeply you actually need help. Would I be the asshole if I dug up my father-in-law's dearly departed dog and sent the bones back to him piece by piece? Oh boy. Holy shit. This sounds insane, and I'm okay with that. Let me set the stage for why I believe such extreme measures are needed in this situation. My father-in-law asked to borrow my car for what was supposed to be a 5-minute trip to the gas station. He didn't come back. Hours pass and no calls or texts are being answered. We had a pretty good idea that he'd driven to a city 30 minutes away for some illegal extracurricular activities, as this was his MO before he came to live with us and committed to months of sober living. I called the cops the next morning, reported it stolen, and pressed charges. The police set to work tracking my car through traffic lights, and about 9 hours after I reported it, they had found him. Cops called me and I hurried to meet them at the location of the car. There, I was told by officers that he was pulled over for turning onto a well-known high-traffic neighborhood for all of his favorite extracurriculars. The cops found a laundry list of debauchery in the backseat of the car I drive my 4 young children to and from in. There was a hooker in the front seat with him, and strewn across the backseat was Fenty, crack, paraphernalia, condoms, and the hooker's feminine hygiene products. Both were arrested, her on warrants related to her career and him on charges I had pressed on him that day. and the ones incurred from the findings in the car. He spent the weekend in jail, and I had to deep clean my car so my kids didn't get an STD or accidental overdose from sitting on the seats. He called my brother-in-law and, on speaker with my husband there to hear, said, "Can't believe I had to spend the weekend in jail because of unreasonable people." Unreasonable, The icing on the cake was the text message my sister-in-law sent my husband stating, "I can't believe you let your woman send dad to jail. You know he's never stolen anyone's car." He let me press charges? Oh, no. He doesn't let me do a damn thing. I do what I damn well please. He endangered my kids, disrespected my husband and I, caused destruction to property that wasn't his, and is now running his mouth that I'm unreasonable and pulling family into it to shame me? Well, it has me thinking that I should be actually unreasonable. Last spring, he put his dearly departed dog to rest in a 4x6-foot hand-built Home Depot coffin. I'm thinking I don't want any reminders of this man tainting my property any longer. I also think he would appreciate having access to his dear old friend again. For mourning purposes, considering he's trespassed from my property and can't visit the grave. To me, it seems perfectly reasonable that he'd miss his best friend and want him back, and sending it all at once would be expensive shipping, of course, so piece by piece is more economically feasible in the long run. Tell me, would I be the asshole? Edit, to those who reported this post for physical harm or violence, let me just say the appeal system on here and the Reddit admins are fabulous at reviewing and making the right decisions based on the rules, because ban lifted and post restored. Thank you. Second edit, adding picture of the 4x6-foot hand-built coffin the day it was constructed, since this seems to be a big reason people think the whole thing is made up. Purposely didn't post the one of the dog in it because that'd be way too much. Yes, that'd be way too much. Oh my god. Look, I understand the anger and the energy here, but like, can we maybe get revenge by not desecrating the corpse of a dog? That'd be great, because like, I understand the energy here and just like the sheer level of like just being pissed off and wanting to get back and prove him wrong and just creating an unbelievable hellscape for him to navigate through, but this is, what the fuck? Like, oh, I'm laughing, but it's at a just sheer shock, because I haven't seen anything like this before. Like, I've dealt with posts that piss me off and leave me in like a very rage-filled state just from the contents of it, but this one is just like, I feel like I'm watching a circus where a performer got into a cannon and nothing but red mist came out. Like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Like, no matter what, OP is a devil in this post, without a fucking doubt. Desecrating the corpse of a dead dog is certainly on the list of things the devil would do. But like, it's up to you to argue of whether or not this is a justified devil or not, because I'm certainly not going to touch this with a 20-foot pole. Yeah, you guys have fun with this one. Originally posted to r/relationship advice. My, 29 male, regular, 26 female, started dating a guy that isn't her type. What's her end goal? Just to give everyone some background, I'm a bartender, and this woman comes in pretty frequently. She has a big crush on me and wanted a relationship. I'm not a relationship type of guy, but we hooked up, but she always wanted more. I was clear that wouldn't happen. I noticed she stopped texting me or calling me, which I didn't mind, but I did decide to text her first and she didn't respond. Now, normally she reaches out first and always responds when I message her. Also, it has been a while since she came in, but she finally did on Sunday with some guy. I served them and she wasn't flirting like normal, but just all on the guy, laughing. It seems like she's using him to make me jealous. It's not working, but I do think it's messed up. She told me she couldn't date a guy shorter than her. She's 5'10", 5'11", which is pretty tall for a woman. And he looks like he's like 5'8", so how do you go from I couldn't date a guy shorter than me to, well, a guy shorter than you? I don't know, but guys, what is she going for here? She's not going for anything here, bud. You made it crystal clear you weren't interested in a relationship, and she moved on and found someone else. Now, there might be a chance she did bring him in specifically to the bar to make you jealous, but you made it clear you had no interest in a long-term relationship and started messaging her first, so maybe this was her way of saying, I have a boyfriend now, so, we're done. Gotta love the mindset of, I'm not really interested in a relationship, but, I'm perfectly fine with, hooking up and messing around a bit. Why aren't you texting me back? You just came in with another guy? What game are you playing at here? If you're trying to make me jealous, it's not working. She said she wouldn't date a guy shorter than her, but he's like 5'8". Ugh. Just as a heads up, I've heard like 4 different females throughout my life who have stated they wouldn't date a guy shorter than them. And like, more than half of them ended up with guys shorter than them. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.